republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back once again. It is Sunday afternoon, and we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And actually, I said we. What I mean is just me. And I'm on the phone. We got our special guest with us today. We got Tiger Schultz. How you doing, Tiger?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
Good. This is like a year. This is like we do this once a year, and we keep claiming you're going to come back on again and again, and I don't think we ever make it happen.
Yeah, I really need to just like catch you, just randomly in March or something, and be like, "Hey, I don't have anything going next Sunday. Let's just do it then, and not talk about running gun."
Yeah, that's what it needs. Unfortunately, I am so. I won't say unorganized, but my life with the kids and everything else is up and down. And I know you try to get other people on the podcast, there's some of even the regular guys, and it's just, I never know when I'm going to do this. It used to be where we used to do this religiously Saturday evenings, Saturday or Friday or Saturday evenings. And now it could be anywhere from Wednesday to Sunday at 9:00 at night. I mean, occasionally I'm out here at 4:30 in the morning doing it. So it's, I don't know.
Well, you know, I get it. I'm the same way with all of my stuff. Like people who, follow zombie posts or whatever, they're like, "You posted that at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday." And I'm like, I was awake and it needed done. So. Yeah.
Typically if I'm posting something at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, it's because I'm eating breakfast, getting ready to go out running or something. But
mine's usually because I haven't been to bed yet.
Oh, no. Yeah. This old man over here, I go to bed about 9, and that's kind of where it stays. So I tell you what, if everyone doesn't know, I've got to quit touching. We got some weird people commenting on I don't know who this is. It's like Arabic writing on the Facebook Live video, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, that's weird.
That scares me. So, what we're going to do is I think we're going to start off with some small talk, and then we'll get into the reason why you actually came on the podcast. Not only do you like us, but you put on an event every year that we will chat about. But let me tell you this. Ask you this, actually. What have you been doing this last few weeks that have been Second Amendment related, sir?
Well, I have been training for, let's back up here. 3 weeks ago, I did a different run again. I did the Guardian run at a brand new venue, brand new event, 5K. Was awesome. They did a great job down there. And since then, I've been training for Legion coming up next weekend.
Okay.
Not Labor Day weekend, but the weekend after. And that's a fantastic event. That all goes to Special Forces Group, 5th Special Forces Group, Chapter 38, Special Forces Association, the charity that does the 5th Special Forces Group, like spousal support and all that. And if you've ever wanted to play Green Beret for a day, that is the event to go to. It's all blind stages. It's a lot harder. But you'll run into a guy and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, what do you do?" And "Oh, I'm in the Army." "Yeah, what do you do in the Army?" "I'm a cook." And you're looking at him like, "Yeah, okay." Biggest cook you've ever seen in your life, and there's 7 of them standing there.
Oh wow!
Wow. It's a really cool event. It's going to a new venue this year, down in Tennessee. So I'm looking forward to going down there and shooting that. But mainly, I've been trying to not spend all of my ammo because my primary ammo supplier is running daily deals and they're selling out before I can get to them.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you how the ammo was. Sure, ammo's hard to find anywhere. I mean, do you got some little honey hole somewhere you pull ammo from, or it just sounds like?
Kind of. I've kind of worked out a deal with Stand One Armory. They're out of Texas. They're actually sponsoring Zombie this year. They do some really awesome 147 grain 9mm. They call them chubbies. And wow. They come in at 125 power factor exactly. Like it is on the nose for IDPA and USPSA minor shooting and stuff like that. And then they do a 62 grain 223 that is awesome. And they do all kinds of match grade stuff. And I've kind of worked out a deal with them where, if I give them a few weeks notice, they kind of back order stuff for me.
Oh,
and,
great.
I'm technically a distributor for them is what is kind of the deal that I've worked out with them. And, as long as I'm not ordering, 100,000 rounds at a time, they can help me out a little bit. And then I promote them as well. And I've done some stuff with them, as I guess technically I'm a distributor / sponsored shooter at this point. Even though I'm never going to win anything. But they're really awesome people. Check them out on Facebook, check them out on their website, Stand One Armory, tell them Tiger sent you. And they'll try to do their best to hook them up. They post 9mm ammo every day at 6 p.m. and it's usually sold out by like 6:15.
Oh, wow.
So check it out. 6 p.m. on the nose. I don't remember what time they post 223 ammo, but I don't think it's the same time. I think they stagger them so that people have a chance to get different things. But yeah, and it's really good ammo. It shoots great. The 9mm stuff shoots great out of that Maxim 9. It's ridiculously quiet, actually. And the 223 stuff shoots awesome out of my only AR-15.
So Tiger's got the hookup, it sounds like.
Well, it's not like I'm ordering 10,000 rounds. I pick up 100 rounds at a time every couple months and kind of stretch it out.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
And that's what I actually called them the other day. And I was like, hey, I've got 3 matches to get me through the rest of the year. I need like 250 rounds of match ammo. And they're like, okay, it'll be a couple of weeks, but we can probably get that to you. It's
right.
I'm not the reason for the ammo shortage.
Yeah, okay, just making sure. I'm just making sure, Tiger. No,
now 10mm, I am the reason for the ammo shortage because I bought like 3 cases of that the other day.
That's the one. That's the one caliber that around here. Whenever you go into the stores, that's the caliber that everyone can find around here. There's 10mm all over they're all over the place here.
It's still there because I'm the only person who shoots it in the entire desert.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, we're in the same boat as everyone else. I mean, 9mm comes in and then it leaves. And fortunately, I was, I stocked up quite a bit. So
yeah,
I've got enough, and I haven't reloaded for a couple of years, but that doesn't mean I quit buying reloading components.
Right. And I kind of stumbled into a reloading deal a couple of years ago. Me and a buddy of mine split it. And if I was willing to shoot 40 grain 223, the guy I bought it from, he loaded a lot for 22-250. He did a lot of varmint shooting.
Oh wow!
We counted them the other day, and we've got like 8,000 projectiles of 40 grain 223, and I'm like, I really don't want to shoot 40. Like it's kind of pointless for me. But if I need it, I'll shoot it. Right? Like
right.
And right now, the big hard thing to find is primers.
Oh, yeah. You can't find small pistol primers for nothing.
No, small pistol, small rifle. I mean, even large rifles kind of getting a little bit scarce.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I threatened on the last podcast we did last week. I was talking to Mark. I threatened to take a Dremel tool to some of my 9mm casings to see if I could
make them large pistol.
Yeah, I was going to put them large Magnum. Yeah, I was going to dump a Magnum in there and see what happened. Mark assured me that was probably not a good idea.
That's probably not a good plan.
I don't know that I'm going to fire it, but I think I might Dremel one out just to see if I can get one in there. Because can you imagine the looks on people's faces if they saw me walking around with a primer, a 9mm case that had a Magnum primer shoved in the back?
Oh Lord! Oh Lord!
That would be awesome.
That's I almost had myself talked into a 9x25 Dillon a couple years ago, and that's a 10mm case with a Magnum primer that's been necked down to a 9mm projectile.
Oh wow!
And out of a 5-inch barrel, it's getting like 2100 FPS with 115. Like it's just an absolutely dumb round, and I almost had myself talked into a conversion barrel for my. I had a 40 at the time, a long slide 10mm, and I really kind of wish I had now because if I could use all these 9mm projectiles and the large Magnum primers together. Like I could I could kind of Frankenstein rounds together.
That's about what I'm. So right now I reload. I reload like 50 rounds or 100 rounds, and I go out and shoot that much, and then I won't shoot again until I've actually forced myself to reload another 50 or 100 rounds. And
right.
I've got 3,000 or 4,000 rounds on order. Kind of beginning all this when ammo was still hard to find, I went ahead and jumped on it and ordered some, and I knew I was going to have to wait, but it's just kind of I got plenty, but it's kind of like my backup plan. If that makes any sense? I know it'll be here sometime.
I actually know a guy who does that. Every time something goes on back order, he continues his buying, like weekly buying habit.
It'll come eventually.
He said eventually it's going to come in, right? Like eventually my order number will come up, and he said, "Now I'll have ammo." But he's kind of a weird case because he's pretty well off, and he orders like there for a couple of years he would order a suppressor every 3 months. So that whenever the stamps started coming in, like he was getting his cans every 2 to 3 months. Like it was.
So he's got like a pile of them, then, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got. I think last time I was over there, we counted like 28 suppressors.
Holy cow! And you know what? I've yet to even buy one. I don't even have a stamp for. I got nothing.
Well, I've got a couple of cans. I've got the suppressed upper, and then I've got a standalone can. And then I've got the Maxim, and those are the only 3 stamps I've got. But I'm working on getting my FFL and my SOT and all of that, so that I can just have everything shipped to my house. And also I have enough.
You could save on fuel money.
Fuel money, yeah, and also I have enough friends in the area. See, there's not a really good, solid Class 3 dealer. Between, like, I live in the middle of nowhere, and there's a guy who's like 15 minutes from me, but he has a full-time job outside of that.
Right.
And he's who I order everything through, but you really got to catch him, and, you got to schedule everything, and there's not just a solid person who you can call and be like, hey, which is where, like, my wife comes in, and, she's going to be part of the business and all that. And, like, plus, he doesn't have a range, so there's no conjugal visits with your suppressor.
Right.
I do, and all that. So it's going to be a good little business. I think I'm not going to be making tens of thousands of dollars a year, but if I can make enough to pay for the stamps and maybe buy myself a new gun every year, I'll be happy.
Who knows? I mean, it could work into something, over time. I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, you got to have. In my thinking, you got to have multiple irons in the fire if you want to make anything out of yourself.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of the deal too. I recently did a job switch. Earlier this month, I guess I changed jobs and took a pay cut and all that. So this business is going to be a way for me to kind of make that up too.
Right.
And all that. So
I understand the starting a new job and having a pay cut thing a lot. A lot. I understand that a lot. So, we talked about this before. We had some small talk on one of our last podcasts, and I think we've gone back and forth about this a few times, and I know me and the other guys that are normally on the podcast do as well. And I was at one of my local gun stores the other day, where Mark works, my buddy Mark, and I was actually there with a student, waiting for a student of mine to come because she wanted me to help her. I just be there when she purchased her gun, just kind of help walk her through walk her through everything. So I get there early because it's a gun store. Why not? I'll just chill out. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I was looking around, and I got down to the binos and all the glass and stuff, and I see some red dots sitting over there. And I noticed that they had 2 normal price red dots, and they had just a whole pile, just really like dirt cheap red dots, and that kind of had me a little concerned. And I asked Mark, I said, "Hey, what's going on over here?" I said, why are these ones like $60 and these ones are like $250? He goes, because you can't, it's really hard to find some of this stuff right now. It's all back ordered. You can't get it. People are buying it up. And he's like, this is what our buyer got us. I said, so those 2 right there are your only decent priced one, or not decent, but you're only like good ones? And he's like, yeah, actually, yeah. He goes, I wouldn't trust my money with this other stuff. I don't even, it was some off brand I'd never even heard of before.
Yeah, like CV Life and whatever.
Yeah, it's weird.
Chinese.
Yeah. And so I'm going to show the camera here. So I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it. Well, all of 10 minutes. And I decided I went ahead and picked one up. And I picked up
there you go.
I did. I picked up a Burris Fast Fire 3. I don't know. I don't think it was an okay one. It's probably not top of the line, but I got a good warranty. And, and I've, be honest with you, I've shot with them before. And, I notice more and more people now, since, new students, I'll say, new shooters, they're buying the packages with the red dots on them. And I need to, this is how I justified my purchase, right? I need to.
You need to be able to teach them.
I need to stay ahead of it. Yeah. So I went ahead and finally freaking bought one. And I also, the week earlier, because I carry a HK VP9, I love that gun. And I bought from, who did I buy it from here? It was through HK Parts. It was a Lazy Wolf VP series trigger. I got a full flat face trigger. I ordered that. It's here, and I'm going to order a bunch of the match grade spring. I'm going to tear this gun apart, and it's going to be a new gun by the time I get done. I know I've never modified any one of my handguns, short of putting a rubber Packmeyer on the outside of it. I've never modified my handguns. I've just always, this is it. I like it. I'll shoot it, whatever,
Right.
So instead of buying a new one, because frankly, I like guns, but there's not any extra special brand new guns out there that are screaming, "Come buy me, Todd." Right. And I like this one. I was like, let's just see what I can do with it. So now I got to go get a freaking slide milled. I got to go do all this crap. I'm going to have more money wrapped up into this than I actually spent on the gun when I bought it new.
Well, that's kind of the thing, because I carry a Glock 29, right? The subcompact 10 mil, and I was going to get it earlier this year. I talked myself into it. I was going to buy a hollow sun for it.
Yeah.
And I was going to get the slide milled and all that, because I can't find like a pre-done, like if I had a Glock 19, I could just order a slide that's already milled.
Right.
Like you can do 29s. That's not an option. Like they don't do that because it's such a niche gun.
Right.
And I got to looking at it, and I'm like, man, I'm about to drop $600 on this freaking 29 that I shoot all the time, and I shoot it well. And why? Like, why am I going to do this? So I actually talked myself out of it, and I'm going to buy in the next year or so. Actually, if Tactical Unicorn takes off and does well, I'd say my first purchase will be a 20 or another 40, and I'll build myself another 10 millimeter race gun is what I'll do.
Oh, okay.
Because I sold my last one to kind of fund a couple other projects, and it worked out, but I'm kind of missing that, or I might buy another 29 and then trick that one all out, just
right.
And have have this, I don't know, the stock Glock, just, it works and I shoot it well. So
I shoot this VP9 well, and I was just talking to the Cajun Cowboy. I was just talking to him on the phone earlier, and I was kind of telling him what I was doing, because I sent him that picture. He's like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on over there, dude? What are you doing? And
no joke.
He goes, what gun you putting that on? And I was like, well, I'm going to put it on the VP9. And he's like, you know what? He's like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you shoot that really well. Are you sure you want to do that? Because you start messing with something that you like.
Yeah.
It might end up you don't like it as much anymore.
You know what you should do, and this will make him really happy, is instead. Well, I mean, now you're in it, and you've already ordered all these parts for the VP9. But you really should have just went out and bought a Koenig and put it on that. Like, just built yourself a Koenig race gun.
He would have freaking
buy one of his. He's got 9.
Yeah, he does. He does have 9. I actually looked at getting, because HK came out with the VP9. I think they call it the VP9 2020, which is now the optics ready version.
Optics ready one. Yeah.
And of course it's back ordered. You can't find them to save your life right now.
Right.
And so I thought, well, if I can't find the gun, maybe I can just find the slide. Right. You can't even find.
Right.
I thought maybe I'd just buy a slide. You can buy them if they were available.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's I thought I had the same thought too. Whenever I was going through all that red dot stuff with my 29, it's like, maybe I ought to just buy something different. And I looked at like the Ruger 5.7, and I was like, and then I couldn't find them anywhere. I'm like, okay, well, guess I'm not going to do that.
So my thoughts are, I'm going to buy taller suppressor sights. That's whatever. So I'm going to put those on there, and I don't even know. I have no idea what suppressors I have. I have no idea what to buy. And so I'm looking at something like that. I'm putting this on there, have it milled and attached. And if for some reason I don't like this, or I decide I don't want it, I think I can just take it off and put a plate on it, right?
Yeah. You can just put a plate right back on it and call it a day. Like
it's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I'll still be taller sights, but they're still going to work. They're still sights.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
for sure.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be probably a month yet down the road. I got to buy all the freaking suppressor sights. Aren't cheap, dude.
No, and that was part of the $600. It was like it was going to be like $150 for the slide, and then $250 for a freaking red dot, and then $100 for suppressor height sights, and then and then another $100 to get everything installed right and Cerakoted. And
so what kind of sights do you recommend? Like I want to go suppressor sights. I mean. I'm that guy that just buys a gun stock, and that's just the way it is. That's what I do.
I really like Dawson makes really solid sights. I don't know if they make them for HKs though. I honestly don't mess with HKs a ton.
Right.
Trijicon would be another one. Trijicon night sight suppressor height is. I mean, those are the two that I would recommend.
Tritium.
Tritium, absolutely Tritium.
Okay.
Because that's my preference. Either Tritium. I mean, fiber optics is okay, but Tritium actually glows.
Right.
So
I like the way fiber optics look, but they're kind of like just big and gaudy, and I'm adding enough stuff to this gun that I really
like fiber optic sights on fiber optic iron sights on rifles.
I really like it. I like the fiber optic sights on my PMR 30. They're fantastic.
Yeah, those are good too. But like I've got a Mossberg, the tactical lever action, and then a buddy of mine's got a couple of older lever guns that he's put fiber optic sights on, and then he put one that had a Skinner peep sight on with a fiber optic front.
Right.
And they don't look as big on a rifle sized platform.
Gotcha.
Like but they glow like no other. I mean, they really pop. So, that's kind of, but we're not shooting these guns in any kind of actual tactical situation, like these are hunting rifles.
Right.
So it's a little different.
So we got someone watching on Facebook Live. You must know him. I don't recognize his name. His name is Nick Quick.
Yeah, I know Nick.
Yeah. He says red dots are the way of the future. The future is here now. He's pretty much telling me to get off my butt and just get it done. And then he said he seconds your Dawson sights. So
yeah, he's a guy to listen to.
Okay.
He has won a lot of 5K running guns. He has won a bunch of them.
Nice. I'm going to have to. I can't. My computer is. I'll screw it up. I was going to try to multitask here and look up Dawson sites, but I'm going to. I'll end up. It's not worth it. I'll look it up. I'll look it up after we're done and check those out. And so let me ask you this. And this is a dumb question, okay? Because this is coming from a newbie red dot guy. So I'm looking at these. If I get suppressor sights, height sights, are they all they're all gonna be tall enough to clear that? Or are they like different sizes? I got to worry about like how tall do I need to be to clear the freaking burris?
I'm pretty sure standard suppressor height sights with all of them come like in a standard height.
Okay.
You can get, if you get into some of the Trijicons, I think you can get what they call a lower third, where the sights barely clear the basically the body of the red dot, and it's a lower 1/3 co-witness instead of an actual co-witness.
Okay.
But yeah, a standard suppressor height sight should like perfectly line up with your red dot. So
that's what I'll do.
And that's a good way to find your dot too. I mean, you present, and if your irons are presented, so is your dot.
Okay.
That's
nice.
So
Nick says on here, he actually says no tritium or fiber sights with the red dot sight.
Well, there you go. 2 blackouts.
I'll take his word on it. I'll check out the Dawson sites and we'll go from there.
He's the guy who would know. He has several pistols with him on it.
Do they not? Maybe do they not like show up well looking through that?
Probably. You probably can't see the dot as well. They probably wash each other out.
Probably a waste.
Bit.
So I was looking now here, and don't laugh at my little faux pas here. I was doing some reading after the fact. I'm kind of a grab and buy person, and then I figure it out when I get home.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So this Fast Fire 3 is what I got. It came in an 8 MOA or a 3 MOA. All they had is a 3 MOA. I grabbed the 3 MOA. So what I'm told, what I've read is that's just a finer dot, right?
Yeah, that's the size of the dot. Like that, your dot will cover up a 3-inch circle at 100 yards.
Oh, okay.
They're not exactly 3 inches, but close enough.
Right.
And some people really like small dots because you can be really, really precise with them. You know, you can really bullseye shoot. And then other people really like great big dots.
It's just
my thoughts are
covering.
Yeah. My thoughts are you get a 1 or a 2 MOA or even a 3 MOA. And if you want it bigger, just crank up the brightness.
There you go. And
it'll bloom and, you know.
Yeah. Well, my background as far as, you know, teaching and stuff like that. So I've got to be, I teach all kinds of stuff, but most of my classes obviously are intro. So we're just working on fundamentals. We're working on basic bullseye shooting. So I think that I'll be more happy with this 3 MOA because I'm going to be more for the finer, more precision type stuff.
Right. And it's not, like I think the Hollow Sun that I've got on the Maxim 9, it's got a 2 MOA dot with a 32 MOA ring around it.
Okay.
But like on the RMRs, you have 1 MOAs, 2 MOAs, 2.5 MOAs, 3 MOAs, 4.5 MOAs, and 6 MOAs. Like there's there's a wide variety on the Trijicon RMRs. And, you know, some people really like that 6 MOA, that great big, just glaring dot because you sling it over onto the target and okay, there it is.
Right.
You know, you're not hunting for something smaller, but I agree. I think where you're at, that 3 MOA is going to be, or the 1 MOA, you know, either one is going to be fine. You're going to really surprise yourself at how much faster and easier it is to shoot, and how much faster and easier it is to teach people how to shoot.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. My big fear is that I'm going to like it a lot, and then I'm going to be looking around going, I need about 4 more of these stupid things. So
Yep.
That's my, I hate to say, that's my big fear. Something else, that's a weird thing to say it's a fear, but I know myself. And if I like something, I'm going to buy more.
That was my biggest fear whenever I bought that first suppressor, and it's come true. Like I've bought, I bought 2 more expensive things, and that's, it's just the way it is. But yeah, and that Burris is a good intro dot.
Right.
And I love Burris products to death. I mean, I really do.
Supposed to have a good warranty on it too.
Yeah. I own 3 or 4 Burris scopes, like for rifles.
Well, that's what I got on mine.
Yeah, and I really like their products. For dots, you'll come out, like if you were to throw a poll up, hey, what dot should I buy?
Yeah.
Some people say the Fast Fire. A few people say like a Vortex, Viper, red dot or whatever, and then you're going to get a lot of Trijicon, RMRs,
right,
Leopold, Delta Point Pros, which is what Nick Quick, that's what he runs, and Hollow Suns, which is what I've got on my pistol. So, like, those are the 3 big competitors right now.
And Nick agrees. Nick agrees with you. He says smaller dot the better. Brighten it up if you want it to look bigger.
Yep.
I guess you can go one way. You can't make it look. You can only make it look so small. So.
Right. Yeah. It only goes so small. Like that's the smallest it gets, and you can like, especially on this Hollow Sun that I've got, because it does have the ring around it.
Right.
I can make it to where the whole thing is basically just red, like the whole freaking screen is red.
Oh wow!
If I really crank it up, but obviously I don't do that because I need to be able to see through what I'm shooting at. But
Nick, he's a pretty deep pool full of knowledge here. He's telling me I'm listening to you, but I'm reading his comments, and he says I need to match my sight height to my RDS. Depends on how. Yeah, see, this is all, and I appreciate that. So I'm probably just going to get everything but maybe the suppressor sights, and then I'm going to take it to whoever I choose to be my gunsmith.
Yep.
And I'm going to say, this is what I want done. Because I was going to put the trigger in myself, but now I might just say, since you have it.
Yeah, just do it.
And
I tell you what,
yeah.
We get off of here. If you want, I'd say you could message Nick and talk to him about it, and he'd be all for it. Like he's who I bought. I bought an AK off of him earlier this year.
Oh, there you go.
And he has a very deep pool of knowledge. He knows a lot of stuff. He actually has a running gun course on his own property, and he posts up different stages and
oh wow
and all kinds of stuff. He's a good dude to learn from. His reloading room is insane.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, he better not listen to this podcast too closely when I talk about putting that Magnum primer in that. He ain't gonna like that. I know whenever my buddy Dean comes on, and he's a reloader too, and he does it like he's a super precision reload, and he sees the way I do it, and he can't even stand to be in the room when I'm reloading.
I tell people that I know a guy from Georgia, and he reloaded a bunch of 9mm several years ago, like 5-gallon buckets full of 9mm. And what he did is he took unique powder.
Yeah.
And just dumped it into cases, like didn't measure it out or whatever, just had like a rack of 50 and just dumped it into cases. Then he seated bullets on top of it.
Nice.
He said some of them would crunch and some of them wouldn't. He said, but you can't blow a pistol up with unique. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like he said, they all went bang. They all cycled. Like it was,
some
whatever.
cycled really, really, really good.
Yeah, like he said, just crunch it in and go to work.
God, don't tempt me, because that's something I do, because it seems like it's a lot quicker that way. You go around with a little funnel and you just think.
I tell you what, I've shot some of his 9mm rounds that he did that with.
Yeah, and
you end up with fireballs and like flecks of powder on your hand.
It's fun to shoot in low light.
Oh, it's super fun to shoot in low light. Like it's that guy is he's another one who's a very deep pool of knowledge. He is one of the only 2 people I've ever seen who has built an 8mm FAL.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a
you got some interesting friends. He's
a mad genius.
You got some interesting friends, Tiger. You really do.
Yes. Yeah, and like I said, man, you need to come to one of these things, because that's where I meet all these people. Like,
I need to. I know I almost dreaded. I didn't dread having you on the show, but I almost dreaded talking to you, because like every year I've got some freaking excuse, Tiger. Single year. I know. I wanted to say COVID. I can't.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
I see your posts on Facebook. I know better.
Yeah. Well, even my wife about 2 hours ago, she's like, "What are you doing the podcast today?" I said, "Yeah, I got Tiger," and she knows. I've mentioned your name a few times. And she's like, "Are you ever going to go up to one of his?" I'm like, Really? You're going to tell me that now? You're going to ask me that now? She's expecting me to. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it. I will not be ready this year. I said that last year, but I will be ready. I'm going to really try. I'd love to bring a group of guys up. I know we've talked about this before, but I really would. And I'm probably going to just really suck at it, but I'll come do it.
Well, it's, I was talking to some people the other day about it. And they were talking about different things, and they've never shot a competition or ran a race or anything. They'd be brand new to everything. They're like, well, this and that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. And I said, come run it. I said, don't expect to win, because you won't.
Right.
But come and have a good time. Like, it's going to be fun. And they're like, well, we might win. And I'm like, you're not going to win. Like, that's,
well,
I know one person who has won their first ever running gun, and he was a freak.
Right. Well,
but he shot a lot of other competitions. It wasn't his first ever anything.
Right.
It was just his first running gun. So,
well, Nick says you'll never be ready for a run and gun one. Well, Nick, you don't understand. I need to actually get out and shoot my rifle. It's probably been 6-7 years since my AR has been out of the safe. So that's what I mean by be ready. And I need to kind of get that kind of stuff ready. But I'll get up there. I'm thinking my 100 miler got canceled this year. And I rolled over to next year with it, and it's in September, so I can get done with that, and I could probably, I could make it. I might be limping, but I could make it.
You'd be all right. But yeah, it's and that's the beauty of like a team match. You just make Tarver or Mark or whoever shoot all the rifle, and you shoot all the pistol. Like
that's I like that. We might do something like that.
I mean, there's a couple of stages where you would have to shoot rifle, but if they can make up how badly you suck, it doesn't matter. Like,
right?
Then
they might have to carry me. They'll have to carry me through this. So anyhow, let's tell you what, we've already kind of eased into it, but let's I'm going to just announce this for Facebook Live. We've got a few people watching, not a lot, but there's a few. I tell you what, Tiger puts on a run and gun called Zombie, right? Zombie.
Yeah, the Run for Your Life, Zombie Run and Gun. Yeah, but everybody just calls it Zombie.
Yeah, and he's going to explain what it is, and kind of what he's got set up for this year. And I don't know if he wants to get into any of the stages or not. I'll let you.
Oh yeah.
I'll let Tiger just kind of take it.
So we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and so if you guys got any questions about Run and Gun or anything like that, feel free to post them up here on the Facebook Live, and we will answer them. I'm not going to answer them. Tiger will answer them.
Right.
So I'll let you just kind of take it from here, sir. I know you guys have changed venues and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we changed venues. This year we're going to Lucas Oil Cattle Company. It's in Cross Timbers, Missouri. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous piece of property. They are a great group of people down there. Lucas Oil is kind of near and dear to me. It's the Lucas family grew up in the same county that I live in here in southern Indiana. I grew up with some of the Lucas grandkids and stuff like that. So, it's kind of a nice hometown touch for me. We're also doing it for their particular charity, which is Protect the Harvest. So most, if not any profits above and beyond match costs are going to go to Protect the Harvest. And for people who haven't ever heard of that or don't know what it is, or, maybe have some weird ideas about agriculture and stuff, they are a big education and litigation. They do a lot of helping farmers who get hit with like really overbearing regulations or frivolous lawsuits and things like that. They kind of help the agricultural community navigate some of that. It's basically what the NRA should be for agriculture, only better. Like,
and hopefully they never get to what the NRA is now.
Right, and they won't. They have a lot of safeguards in place to prevent that from happening. And it's a really great organization, and I'm really proud to be partnered with them. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, a run and gun, Zombie in particular, we have a 10K on Saturday, and then we do a 5K on Sunday. The 10K this year is all centerfire stuff and is a team match. So grab a partner and come on out, shoot it. It's always better to actually, one of my sponsors, MOA Targets, the owner, Mitch Gerlinger, he told me one time that suffering shared is suffering eased. So it's always better to run. It's always better to run with a partner, and it is. It's a lot more fun. You're not out there kind of all by your lonesome and stuff. And then on Sunday we have a 5K, which is a rimfire match. It's not a team match, but if people want to run in groups or as a family or as a husband and wife, father and 2 kids. I mean, anything and everything. The only big deal on that is I wait to approve all registrations for like 4 days, which registration for that starts on Wednesday. Registration for the centerfire starts on Tuesday. But I wait for 4 days, 5 days sometimes, and I go through and I approve all junior shooters first.
Oh, that's cool.
If you're under the age of 18, you get preferred treatment. And if your parent, if I fill it up with 50 or 60 people under the age of 18, I'm sorry, guys. Like that's, that's what I'm doing it for. I want people I want kids involved in it. I want kids to learn about it. And last year, my youngest shooter was 7, and we had, I think, 21 junior shooters do it. And then my oldest shooter for the rimfire was in his upper 60s.
Well, yeah, and this is how you preserve your sport. This is how you preserve what you like to do. You gotta have an entry level for any youth that wants to be part of it. I mean, I think that's a smart thing to do, and I think if you're serious about the sport, I think you're going to understand exactly what you're doing.
Well, and we've had I've had a couple of 12-year-olds and I think one 10-year-old run my centerfire course.
Yeah.
Before, with their parents and all that, but it's. And while I try to put on a very beginner-friendly match, I really do. It's hard to compete when you're 12. Like it's a 10K, and there are obstacles, and the 25 or 30 pounds of gear that me or you would carry as adults, as 200 plus pound or 180 plus pound men, or even 130 pound women, like. That's a bigger deal to a 95-pound 10-year-old.
Oh yeah,
and their gear weighs the same. I mean, they're carrying the same guns and the same pistols and the same ammo and all that. Like there's a certain minimum weight that you have to hit,
right?
Not by regulations, just by facts that guns and ammo weigh things. Like that's how it goes. But yeah, it's going to be a good time, and I've got some. Throwing in the team match thing has made my stage design this year seem insane on my end, like trying to figure out how to have 2 shooters shooting at the same time and maintaining safety and all of that. But I've gotten to do some cool stuff, like my one stage that I'm really excited for is I have a double spinner stage. So I have a pistol spinner and a rifle spinner.
Uh-huh.
And you guys can shoot it however you want. You can both shoot the pistol spinner and get it to spin over first, and then both switch to your rifle and shoot that. You can split them up. You can do it the other way around. I don't care. But there's a lot of you got to be able to communicate, because if one guy gets it spinning really good and then the other dude stops it because he mistimed a shot, like you've got to be able to work through that as a team, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's and I've got one stage that I'm calling it's a bug hunt. So the targets aren't necessarily hidden, but I'm not pointing them out to you. And there's 13 of them, and by the end of it, all of them need to be hit 4 times.
Oh wow!
So that's 52, pistol hits in 3 minutes, which is not that bad if you've got 2 people. But I've got some people who are running this thing without a teammate in my lone survivor division. And 52 pistol hits in 3 minutes is a lot. Like
it is.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's doable. I've seen. I tested it out with a couple of buddies of mine who are proficient pistol shooters, and they did it. It took them a couple of tries to work up to it, but they did it. So it is doable.
I bet you there's a little more work going. I mean, not that you don't work hard already. I phrased that wrong. But you used that one location for what, 2 or 3 years, right? 2 or 3 years. And also, I shared it with another match director who put on 2 running guns. He's the Legion match director, and then he put one on in the spring too. So we kind of shared obstacles, and we and you got cleared trails for each other. Yeah, and everybody, setting it up at the same kind of terrain in the same places. This year's all new, and it's further away, right?
Yeah, I went from a 2.5 hour drive to Rock Castle to it's about a 5.5 to 6 hour drive for me to Lucas Oil.
That is that's tricky, man.
Yeah, I'm going out there here in the weekend after Legion. My wife is a saint because I'm going to be gone weekend after weekend for this thing.
Oh, I bet.
But I'm getting out there, and I'm going to get the course laid out and hopefully get a couple obstacles built and do some inventory on steel targets and see what all we've got and what we need. And, it's a whole new ball game. But again, the people at Lucas Oil are fantastic. They're really working with me, and we're going to do some stuff that we couldn't do elsewhere. Even at Rock Castle, like Friday night this year, we're going to do a big chili cookout for all the families and everybody who is there it'll be a couple bucks for a bowl of chili or whatever, and big campfire or bonfire or whatever you want to call it, and
Right.
maybe get some people to pull out some musical instruments and see if they can play anything. And we do a gear swap every year, so that's going to take place at the same time. So if you've got any old, mag pouches, or last year we had guns getting traded and boxes of ammo, and I'd imagine that's going to be a hot item this year. Slings and, body armor and whatever you got laying around that you don't want, don't need, don't use, bring it out and see if somebody else wants to give you $40 for it or $100 for it, or trade you something that they don't want or need, or it's, but we're kind of, like I said, mixing that in with that chili cookout for the family, so that it's not just, so that the wives and kids have something to do too, and husbands. We've got some female shooters whose husbands aren't gun guys. And this kind of gives everybody a chance to come together in a more social
Right.
setting.
It won't just be another night where one of the spouses is going to leave.
Yeah. Right.
Go
yeah.
do something
and,
else. Yeah.
Yeah. It's and it's I'm looking forward to it. I'm starting to get stressed about it because I'm behind where I was last year because of the new venue. And,
Yep.
And then with the road on top of, I was planning on going out there in March. As a preliminary, and then everything got shut down, and even getting sponsors to send me stuff for the prize table this year has been a nightmare.
Well, they probably didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, yeah, like that, and and then now the conversation I've been having with them the last couple of weeks, I'm still calling people trying to get stuff. Is we would love to, but we don't need to. Like right now, everything's sold out anyways. Like why would we?
Yeah.
We don't have anything to send you, even if we wanted to, and really we don't need to send you anything because we're back ordered for the next 6 months.
Yeah, we're not trying to promote anything right now.
Right now we're just trying to catch up.
We don't want to promote anything that we can't provide.
Yeah, right. And that's and I get it. I totally understand. It's just it kind of sucks for me and for my shooters, but it is what it is. And a lot of them are like, hey, call back, early next year and we'll see if we can do something. So I've got an email list that I'm probably going to start calling out in February and March again next year, trying to get stuff done.
This year, everyone's getting gift certificates to Pizza Hut.
Yeah, DQ, Dairy Queen, gets you a free Blizzard. It's so I don't know. It's a good thing though. It's going to be a good time. Like I said, as far as I know, and anybody who is listening that is in the run and gun world can correct me on this. As far as just sheer number of people passing through in a weekend, I think Zombie 2020 is going to be the biggest run and gun ever because we're looking at 350-ish competitors.
And what did it used to be?
Last year, between the two run and guns, I had 140.
Oh wow, it's gonna be huge. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, no, but running it as a team match, that immediately doubled my competitors. I'm doing more rimfire shooters this year.
That's true.
We've got some cool things happening. Jade Struck, she's going to come out.
Yeah.
She's going to do a training course for all. That's if it works out. The plan currently is she's going to do all of the junior shooters on the rimfire course are going to not start the rimfire day until noon. And from like 10 to noon, she's going to do like an intro to 3-gun with all of these teenagers and younger shooters.
Oh, that'll be
cool. As part of the entry fee. Like it's totally free to them. It's totally, it's all part of it. And she was really excited for it. She's planning on it and all that. Obviously, if California gets shut down because of the Rona or elections or whatever, and she can't travel, then there will be some modifications that have to be made. But
I'll come down and I'll be the draw. I'll be the draw.
There you
I'll
go.
draw people
Come
in.
Come on down. Like, but yeah, because I realized the other day that the day I am leaving my house to go to Missouri is election day. Like I'm actually voting absentee, getting it done ahead of time.
Right.
and I am leaving early in the morning on that Tuesday to drive down there, and I've got to go through a couple of bigger cities, and I'm like, man,
You know
maybe
what?
I should leave the day before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, I think there's gonna be riots either way. So
Yeah, I do too. Like that's,
doesn't matter.
If I can get down there, like Cross Timbers, it's out in the middle of nowhere. So like once I'm there, it's fine. It's just I do have to drive through St. Louis. Like there is no way to get to Cross Timbers without me going through St. Louis unless I go like 3 hours out of my way.
Right.
And I'm just not willing to do that. So, well, and I'm hoping that I can get through everything. I'm going to be getting down there, like at 9 or 10, and we're leaving at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So I'm hoping to be done, through everything before stuff happens.
Right.
Like before anything happens. And
Before
then on the way
everything
back,
drops.
I might have. Yeah, and then on the way back, I may need to like go around it or something, but I'll have time to look at that beforehand. So
It's going to be exciting for sure. So I tell you what, we can come back to and talk about what you got set up for this year, but let's. I guess I just take it for granted. I know you. We've done this probably 3 years now.
Yep.
But I know what we're talking about, but just in case there's someone who doesn't know what a running gun is, and we're doing this way backwards, by the way. Why don't you
we are.
really quickly just explain I was sitting here going, I wonder if these people even know what we're talking about. If you could just kind of go into that real quick.
A running gun is I've heard it described as everything from an adventure race to I think my favorite, combination is a tactical 2-gun centerfire biathlon mixed with a Spartan race. So it's rifle and pistol is what you carry. This year we've got a stage shotgun on stage 1 that you're going to shoot 4 rounds out of. We're going to play some sky golf this year, and but you do this 10K course or this 5K course, and there's obstacles along the way, and there might be some puzzles that you have to do or something along those lines. And then there's 8 stages on the 10K. There's 5 stages on the 5K, and you shoot these stages, and you got to carry your gun and all your ammo and any gear you think you might need. And people, the long-time running gunners have gotten some really personalized kits. Like I know a guy who carries a tomahawk every time he runs.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like that's part of it.
That's his signature.
And he uses it, quite a bit. He'll clear a trail out, or he'll figure if he's got to climb a wall, I've seen him jam it into the wall and step on it, like that.
Right.
And I know guys who use carabiners. They carry a carabiner on, whether we have a slack line or a wall or something like that they've got to get over or get across. That's what they do. That's how they carry it. And, specialized slings, we get tab biathlon style slings because it's basically a biathlon, right? You're running with a gun.
Right.
And so, like I said, the best way I can think of to describe it is a tactical 2-gun match. So rifle and pistol, that's mixed with a centerfire biathlon that's mixed with a Spartan race. The origins of it are to simulate a Second Amendment situation, right? So you're at work or you're somewhere and all of a sudden the power goes out, or, whatever post-apocalyptic event you want to talk about, right?
Right.
Civil unrest is popular, right? Right?
A
Riots
boogaloo.
and stuff. Yeah, boogaloo.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez, I hate that word.
Yeah, I do too. But you got this kit and you strap on and go. And obviously, most people don't carry a rifle with them into work or anything, right? But there's a running gun in Missouri that's an EDC running gun, and they say, hey, bring your EDC pistol, and they limit the number of rounds that you can carry. And I think last year they limited you to 34 rounds or something, and then there was 26 hits or 22 hits or something that you had to make. And And then this year, they're doing it again, and they're saying, okay, well, bring your rifle, but you're going to stage it, and you've got to fight your way to your rifle with your pistol. And then you can get home and get your rifle or whatever to do the rest of the course. And it's kind of an interesting concept,
Oh, yeah.
But it's really designed to test, because everybody, I am ready for the boogaloo or whatever, and then they come do one of these things, and they've walked they've walked around their house with their armor once, because guys will wear plates and armor carriers and all that stuff, and then 3K into a 10K, they're like dragging. They are dead.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Or even the guys who don't wear armor, they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can run around in the woods with a rifle. And rifles are big and heavy and awkward and uncomfortable and hard, and they hit you in the knee and all kinds of stupid stuff. And like, it's hard to move well with a rifle. Like, and people don't realize that because they never carry it. They might carry it to a deer stand, and then that's it. Or they might carry it out to a side-by-side if they're going hog hunting or something, and then they keep it in the side-by-side. They don't actually run around with it.
Or the guys that think they're in better shape than they are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You see a lot of that, I bet.
Yeah. Although a lot of people are like, and that's kind of something too, is the people who think they're in worse shape than they are.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, I could never do a 10K. I'm like, you can walk it. Like, there's no time limit.
Yeah.
You can walk 6 miles. It's not that big of a deal.
And you're taking lots of breaks to shoot.
Yeah. And that's one of my buddies. He's a big time 3-gunner, and he does these running guns. He got to where he was training, because everybody goes out, they do these long, slow runs, these 6, 7, 8 mile runs. And he said, that's not really what a running gun is, though. He said a running gun's really kind of like an 800-yard run, and then you shoot, and then you might have a mile, and then you shoot again, and then you have a 400-yard sprint, and then you shoot again. He said it's really kind of broken up, and you have breaks. He said, so it's a different style of movement. But, that's, everybody trains their own way, and some guys do a lot of strength training, and some guys do I do a lot of hiking.
Right.
So because I walk them anyways, I'm in no danger of winning any of these.
Well, you don't typically, unless you think you're going to be super competitive, you just do them to do them because they're fun and you enjoy them. It's why any of the races I run, I try to get a whole new mindset this year. Not that I ever planned on winning any, but my goal this year was, when I did mine, was to finish without some kind of weird nagging injury, and to finish happy with a smile on my face. And essentially, I think that's what you need to do. And unless you are trying to be competitive and this is like your big thing, and it is what it is, but that only falls into a very minor, small group of people.
Well, and what I've gotten to where I do what I do over the years. Whenever I started out doing this mule award, which was heavyweight, and I tried to be competitive that way, and then I ended up getting hurt a couple of times. Quit doing that because I still got to go to work on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Like I still have to live my life. It doesn't stop on Saturday whenever I get hurt. So realizing that I'm never going to be like a top 10 competitor overall, what I've really tried to do is every event I try to score better than the last one,
right,
as far as my shooting goes.
Right.
Like my run, I throw my run time complete. Now I still push myself because otherwise I'm not.
You're not
really
going to beat
testing,
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise I'm not really testing myself. So I still push myself as far as time goes, or as far as like speed on the course goes. I try to move fast, but where I'm really trying to be competitive is on the shooting portion. And, and sometimes I do really well and sometimes I shoot like shit. But them's the breaks, right? Like, and sometimes I like heartbreak this year. I carried in February, I carried a iron-sighted AK-47, right? Like, I'm not going to be competitive with these guys running ARs with optics on it with an iron-sighted AK-47. Now, that being said, I shot respectably for the weapon I was shooting. I shot I was in the top 50% or whatever for shooting, which is good. That was perfectly okay. Guardian, this last running gun I did, I shot my DSU, my suppressed AR with an optic on it, and I smoked it. Like I did really well. For me, my times were awesome. My scores were crap because there happened to just be a lot of really talented shooters show up.
Right.
But my time, but I shot better time wise than I've ever shot. Like, so sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's you're always competing against yourself, unless you are one of those top 10 to 15 guys, and then you're competing against everybody. But for the most part, it's all about trying to do better than you did. And I try to promote that with Zombie, because like my one stage is a plate rack and you've got to shoot it clean. Like that's the rule, is if you miss, you've got to go do this other thing for a second while the RO resets the plate rack. And that shows up every year. Like there is going to be a plate rack that you have to shoot clean every year at Zombie.
Right.
And so people can, from year to year, really gauge how their pistol skills have evolved. Have you gotten better? Have you gotten worse? Have you stayed the same? Have you, it's a good, I don't want to call it a classifier, but it's a good measuring stick. Other guys do rifle stages, other MDs do rifle stages like that. So it's, if you hit a bunch of these things, you eventually see a similar stage, and you can really gauge how your shooting gets better.
So what's your favorite stage at this one that's coming up, do you think?
Well, it's a toss up between I really hate to say this, but it's kind of a toss up between two stages are going to be my favorite to shoot, and then there's one stage that's going to be my favorite to see the scores on, see how people shoot it.
Okay.
So one of my favorite ones to shoot is going to be this double spinner stage. Like, I think that just sounds like a riot to shoot. Oh, yeah. Of course, I'm going to be shooting 6.5 and 10 mil, so I have a little bit of an advantage on that.
Right.
I'm hitting significantly harder. And then, of course, there's the long range stage, which this year is where we're playing sky golf. So what it's going to be is it's the very first stage too. You're going to walk up. I'm going to hand you, or my RO is going to hand you a shotgun loaded with 4 shells. And we're going to throw individually 4 clays up in the air. And there are 6 targets from 200 to 700 yards, right?
Right.
And for every clay you hit is one less target your partner has to hit starting at the 200-yard line.
My partner would hate me.
Well, if you hit all 4, your partner only has to hit 2 targets, and then there's a bonus target at 850.
Right.
For a bonus later on. And of course, I'm a long range rifle guy, so I'm really looking forward to shooting that. But the stage I'm really interested to see how people play out is it's my last stage, and it's called Defend Your Helicopter. So what it's going to be is I'm going to have 6 targets laid out for one shooter of various sizes and at various distances. I'm hoping to stretch out to like 250 or 300 yards, but different sizes, basically 2 side by side at 3 different distances. And you're going to have one shooter called the marksman, and his partner, the gunner, is going to pick one of these targets based off of which one he thinks he can hit. And the marksman is going to mount this chopper, quote unquote, which is an unstable platform. It's going to have box fans strapped to it, running, to simulate that. And they have to make a single hit on that target. While they're doing that, the gunner is going to have an array of like 10 targets from 50 to 125 or 130 yards. And they're going to be bigger and easier to hit. And the marksman is going to say, okay, I think in 3 minutes he can hit 35 of those. And each target's going to be worth X number of points. And you just cycle through the 10 until you hit that number. The thing is the gunner's not going to know how many targets he has to hit.
Oh, I gotcha.
And the marksman isn't going to know which target he has to hit until the stage starts and the RO says, okay, you need to hit target number 4 or whatever. But it's really all about knowing your partner and knowing
what their
how
skill
well they're
levels
shooting,
are. Yeah.
what their skill level is, how much ammo they have. Because if you say, "Hey, I think my gunner can hit 60 of those targets in 3 minutes, and he only has 52 rounds left," you get zero. If he doesn't hit all 60, he gets 0 points.
Right.
But if you say, "Okay, well, he's not shooting real well today, so I think he's only going to be able to hit like 10, and then he hits 10 targets in the first 15 seconds." Well, that's it. That's the end of his stage. He's done.
Right.
So it's really about striking that balance. Do you go big? Do you play it safe?
It's a thinking game, strategy.
Yeah, and it's going to be really fun to watch people see the scores on that stage, like see how people play it, and do they put, if you've got a stronger rifle shooter, do you put him on the marksman target, which is a big single shot, or do you put him on the speed and then pick a really easy marksman target for maybe a weaker rifle shooter, right? Like there's a lot of different strategies that you can take here, and it's just going to be really fun to watch people's heads explode, trying to figure it out. And my plate rack stage this year is they have to put together a puzzle, and I've got I'm going to have 3 24-piece like kids jigsaw puzzles, and one partner is going to be putting it together while the other partner shooting the plate rack. And if you miss on the plate rack, you switch spots.
Wow.
So, like you got to be able to put a puzzle together on the clock, as well as your partner needs to be able to shoot. Otherwise there's time being wasted moving. And it's just going to be really fun seeing the dynamics of team shooting and how well people communicate and all that.
I really got to, God, I said this last time too. I really got to find a partner or someone. I got to come down. As soon as you, and I'll see you posted, as soon as you know the dates of, and they're solid, and I know it's a little early yet, of the next one for next year.
Yeah.
I'm just going to freaking get tickets. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to either get tickets or get a buddy and figure out how to drive down or what we're going to do. I'm going to, I got to lock this stupid thing down because I need to get there. I need to check this out.
I agree, man. And like I said, you come down.
I'm bringing the podcast equipment.
We'll do a podcast, and I'll get a round table of Nick Quick. Nick Quick's going to be there this year, and if he's there next year, see if he'll come on, and guys that have done a lot of these that because you talk to me and I talk about it, and I see it from an MD standpoint and like a mediocre competitor. But there are a lot of guys who are going to show up to Zombie who are top-notch competitors, and there's one dude who he's done like 12 or 13 of these things this year.
Oh wow!
Like he's a serious. He goes to all the major ones and some of the locals, and like he's and we'll get a group of 10 or 15 guys together at a round table, and then me and you can just shut up and let them talk. Like,
yeah, I've got to. I mean, I've got to do this. I just need to. Yeah, I say this every year. You're like, I'm not going to hold my breath, Todd. But yeah, if you can make it, you can make it.
It's all right. I get a lot of people who are like, man, I'm really trying to make it, and I say the same thing to other people. Like, there's a match, and I feel bad. Ellis Dom runs the gun run in North Carolina, and he puts on a fantastic event. And I've never been there. Like, and I would love to go, and the scheduling just never works out.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, and the problem is that I have all these other ones that I'm wanting to go to, right? And then I haven't been to his, so it kind of slips my mind. But I'd go. I went to Pawnee for the first time this year. We talked about that on my way back from Pawnee. Back in January, and next year my big pilgrimage is to Pecos, which is where Run and Gun started. It was the first ever Run and Gun. Next year is the 20th anniversary of it.
Oh wow!
So I'm going to try and make that if I can. But Pecos is like a 3-day drive for me.
I was just down in Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina for like a week.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. So I got to get down there. I got no more excuses. I just need to do it. I need to blow the dust off my rifle and figure it out.
and make a vacation out. I mean, if you want, which obviously I say this, if you want, you can come down and help me, but, take a week off, come down 3 or 4 days early and you can help set up and get the full experience and then maybe even shoot it a couple of days early, shoot the whole thing. And then you can be running around on match day, interviewing people or just seeing other people shoot or whatever. You can do a freaking whole day live Facebook podcast.
That'd be, that'd be so cool. That'd take it to the next level for sure.
Oh yeah. And just, or post videos all day of, hey, we're on stage 3 here in, such and such is shooting it, and man, they're really burning it down, and and then watch them miss for the rest of the video. But
well,
it's like that goes.
It's like, don't tip me, because you know how easy it is for me to get a week off of work now. It's really easy. I just got to not schedule anything that week.
You're right. Which this year we're getting. I haven't announced this. I was actually going to announce this tonight. Gun Stuff TV is coming in. They're going to do a video and they're going to run it and all that. So I don't know if you've ever watched them on YouTube or on. I have not, but I will. Facebook.
I will tonight.
Check them out. Yeah, check them out. They do a lot of really cool gun reviews. I actually worked with. I RO'd with Scott off of Gun Stuff at Guardian. Me and him worked the stage together.
Oh wow!
The whole weekend, and super good guy, super easy going, and a lot of good information that comes out of their show, of their show. And like he was showing us some of the stuff, the difference between a forward blast can on a rifle and a break, and he was showing it in like terms of home defense, right?
Right.
And he did this experiment where he shot next to a balloon, right? He had the muzzle like 6 inches away from a balloon. He basically, where he turned the corner, he said, now picture this balloon is like your loved one's eardrum.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like you're shooting over your wife or whatever to get to the bad guy who's running at her.
Yeah.
And the break, it just popped the balloon. And that forward blast can, he went through like 8 or 10 rounds, and at one point he was physically touching the balloon and it wasn't popping. He's like, they worked. He said, they do what they're supposed to do. They shoot all of the gas forward. He said, so maybe as a home defense weapon, and that might be a way to go. Which obviously, I mean, the best home defense muzzle device is a suppressor. But
right,
if you can't get into that, then that may be. And it was just a very good, visible test that they did. That it wasn't just, I like this thing because they're sponsoring us or anything like that. Like,
right. What kind of back? I'm just trying to work out the logistics here in my brain. So what town is close to that in Missouri that people are going to be staying at, or?
So there's, ROs are staying on site in the lodge. They have a lodge there.
Gotcha.
I'm buying that for the week. For my ROs to stay.
Okay.
There is on-site primitive camping.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, there's spaces for like campers and stuff, but no electric hookups, no water hookups, anything like that, for X amount a night. Which that's only if you want to pull a camper in. If you want to pitch a tent, you can camp on site. There is camping that has the hookups about 20 minutes up the road at Lucas Oil Speedway at the racetrack. And it's pretty reasonable. I think she says it's like 25 a night or 50 a night, something like that.
Okay.
Pretty reasonable. The closest hotel is about 40 minutes away.
It's not horrible.
And I can't remember what town it was in.
I'll just do
Springfield. Springfield is an hour away.
I'll do some checking because we still have lots of connections in Kansas. So what I may do is, if my family wanted to even just ride down, we drive down. Maybe they could just stay where we used to live in Kansas. And they could visit friends and stuff like that. And I just keep coming. I don't know. I'm just trying. I guess I'm working this out on Facebook Live, but
and that it's like I said, it's a complete. That's the only downside to the property, quote unquote downside. I love the fact that it's in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it's yeah.
Yeah. But as far as lodging goes, yeah, you're looking at a half hour, 40-minute, maybe an hour drive, which I'm kind of like you.
That's nothing.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
That gives you time to wake up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's, or like I tell people, if you don't want to do that, stay on site or RO for me. If you want to bed on site, RO for me. Like that's
right.
But at this point, and I'm really lucky this year, a lot of the ROs that came to Kentucky with me, have moved to Missouri with me.
Oh, wow.
And I was really afraid of that because some of them, like a couple of them are coming from, North Carolina, and Kentucky was a long drive.
Sure.
And now it's 5 hours further, and it's like, oh, guys, I'm sorry. But, I looked at, to be honest, and I don't know if we talked about this on a different podcast, but I looked at a lot of different ranges, and I called several different places looking for a home for Zombie.
Right.
Whenever I found out that Rockcastle was closing, and called Lucas Oil, got the phone number to their, the person I needed to, and was talking to her and everything. And she was really excited for it and all that. They've done some pistol, PCC matches and some 3-gun matches out there, but nothing ever like this, right? They've never done anything like this. And she was like, she was like, well, how far do you need to shoot? And I was like, I don't know. How far can I shoot? Like, I'd never been there. I had no idea what I was getting into. And she was like, well, right now I think I can get you like 700 or 800 yards, but if we need to, we can knock down trees if you really need 1,000.
Holy cow.
This is the first ever conversation I have with this lady.
They're offering to tear up their property for you.
Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, maybe in the future, but this year, you know what? 700, 850 yards. Perfect. That's
right.
I'm flexible. And that's the caliber of people that we're dealing with.
Right.
And that was a big reason that I went there, because they're not an established range with like clubs and stuff like that. I talked to one range and they're like, yeah, we'd love to have Zombie here. But you got to get permission from like the 7, there was a pistol club and a shotgun club and a rifle club and an air rifle club and a black powder club and a bow club. And I'm like, I can't deal with 15 people. Like I can barely deal with one person, much less 15.
Right. Yeah. Horrible.
But, and it's, the politics of it is what I was trying to avoid. And like I said, the people from Lucas Oil, they're top notch, and it helps, they've got some Second Amendment products out there. They've got the gun lubes and the CLPs and the gun grease and all that. And it's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I tell people I've used everything from motor oil to white lithium grease to the very most expensive frog lubes and stuff like that. And Lucas Oil is if you're looking for a good gun lube, that's where I would go.
Yeah, bacon grease works good too.
Yeah, bacon grease. Yeah, absolutely.
Works great. So when can people, if people want to sign up for that this year, or they want to check it out, where can they find you on social media? When can they sign up? How can they sign up? I mean, how's that work?
Okay. So we have 2 social media platforms. We've got the Facebook event page, which if you Google 2020 Run for Your Life, Zombie Run and Gun, it'll pop up, or Zombie 10K, it'll pop up. Should be the only one that pops up. Just look for the 2020, because at this point I've got 2019 and 2018 and all that. And then on Instagram, we have Run for Your Life Zombie RNG. We got it started last year. I'm working on making it a bigger thing. It's kind of slow going on Instagram, but everything that gets posted on Instagram also gets posted on Facebook. But not everything that gets posted on Facebook gets posted on Instagram.
Because you can post to one and it'll post on both.
Right.
Okay.
But, on the Facebook page, we have people
links.
who ask questions.
Yeah.
Well, we have people who ask questions, and then I answer them, and that stuff doesn't go on Instagram.
Gotcha. I'm going to go find you on Instagram. I didn't realize you were on there. I'll go look.
Yep. And then as far as signing up, we're on Practice Score. The link is on... Both links, the 10K and the 5K, are on the Instagram page and on the Facebook page. They're right at the top of the About section.
Right.
Sign-ups go live Tuesday, like as in 2 days from now, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. for the 10K, and then Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for the 5K. Normally, I would do them in the mornings or around noon, but like I said earlier, my job has changed, and I'm not home like at that time now, so I moved it back so that I can start approving people as soon as they start signing up and all that.
What day is the actual match on?
Match is on November 7th is the 10K, and November 8th is the 5K. It's the weekend after Election Day.
That's right. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's.
I would almost say that I would bite the bullet and try to get in there this year, but one of my big races got moved from the spring to, I think, that weekend in November. So I'm going to shoot for next year. Dang it!
There you go.
You need to cuss me out or something. I mean, you need to, like, as soon as you get the next one scheduled, you need to say, "What the hell, Todd? Did you sign up? I don't see your freaking name on here." I mean, you need to get all over me. You need to say, like, send me proof of your flight itinerary or something.
What we'll do is and every year I run Zombie, and then I'm on Facebook for a couple of weeks doing what I call aftercare. Posting up stats from the race and taking care of, as all the after event stuff. And then I generally take all of December off. I don't think about running guns. I don't do running guns. I don't post on, I disconnect from social media. I take all of December and reset. And then I
have
start
your
again.
Cell number. I will find you.
Yeah, right. And that's fine. That's okay. But once I get a solid date, what I'll do is I'll call you and be like, okay, here are the dates. And then I'm going to start bugging you to get back onto the podcast. And every time I'm on the podcast, they're like, Todd, have you bought your plane ticket yet? No. Well, then I hang up, click.
That's right. You need to do this. I need a screenshot of your itinerary, your flight itinerary, something. I'll figure it out.
Tarver, hit him. He's not signed up yet. Hit him.
He would, too. He probably would reach across the table and strangle me.
Well, he needs to come out.
I don't know if you're going to see that. Tarver likes.
He doesn't need to run it. He just needs to come out.
No, he just likes to keep to himself. Which is, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Mark might be interested.
Yeah, there you go.
Mark,
bring the whole crew.
Yeah. I bring them all. I bring Dane. I don't know. We'll see who I can round up. We'll figure. Road trip. We'll rent a little short bus or something. That's
actually, we're talking about me and some buddies for Pecos next year, because I got a couple of buddies who are wanting to do it too.
Right.
If we all get in, renting an RV and taking like 2 or 3 days to drive out there. Not pushing real hard. Just take our time, drive out there. Spend a couple of days at the event, and then taking a full 10 or 11 days off work. And doing it, making it a big road trip and
swing back up to home via Idaho.
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah,
you can stop
from
by
West
and say
Texas
hi
to Indiana.
It'll work. You'll make it home. It's just out of your way. Just a few miles.
Well, that's like a buddy of mine. I drove him out to get his car because he'd taken a road trip with a friend of his, and he flew into like close to my hometown, and I took him to get his car in Yellowstone.
There you go.
It was like, yeah, that makes total sense. Great trip though, fantastic trip. But yeah, like I said, we'll get you out there, and we'll. I think once you get to one, you're gonna make it. It'll be like your trail running in. Like you're gonna be like, okay, now I need to do it again.
That's hard to do because most of them are that direction, and that's a long ways. It's a lot longer than my trail.
Well, or start your own. Do it in the Northwest.
We've talked about this every call too, and I know,
and
we'll see.
I know. Well, I've got a guy coming from Washington, coming down. I know that obviously he hasn't signed up yet because sign-ups haven't happened yet, but he's planning on being there. He's flying in from Washington State, and he's like, "Yeah, I need to get out of this state for a few days." And I'm like, "Yeah, come on down."
So, okay, well, Tiger, I'm glad you could come on and talk about this. I want to say thank you for that. And the Facebook Live thing, we had some people asking some questions. Well, we had Nick on there. Nick asked all kinds of questions. He answered. We like Nick.
Yeah.
So we're glad. I'm gonna go ahead and probably when I get done here, I'm gonna friend Nick on Facebook. So I may have some more questions for you and him.
You're going to.
I'm
him
looking
especially.
at this. I'm looking at this red dot over here, and I was gonna give it like a month or two. I'm kind of itching just to go have this thing put on.
Yeah.
I really am.
Which, I mean, the thing is you send it off for milling, and then it's like a week or two there,
Right.
So, like, if you wait a month, then it's going to be 6 or 7 weeks before you're back in, before you get it back. Like,
I need to find an extra slide, but I'm not going to find one. I need a spare slide so I can just put it on the slide. You know what I'm saying? And then just switch out the freaking slides.
Yep. I know a lot of people do it with Glocks.
Well, who wants to Glock? Yeah. So, but anyhow, I appreciate you on here, and I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and do our closing, do the closing ceremonies here.
Okay.
You can stay on the phone if you want, or I can just text you when we're done and chat you then.
I've actually got to get off of here. I've got a couple of kids who are ready for bed, so
no problem.
Text me when you get it all done, and we'll go from there.
Okay, we'll do it. Thanks a lot, Tiger.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was Tiger Schultz, and he came on to talk about the zombie run and gun that he puts on every year. I know we have him actually on the podcast every year, and eventually I got to make it out to one of these things. So I don't know. I'll let the listeners kind of hold me to that, hold me responsible, hold my feet to the fire. I need to get out there and check that out at least one time. It'd make for a great podcast anyhow. But hey, if you listen to the podcast, I want to say a big thanks. I really appreciate it. You guys have helped it grow. You've helped it. You've shared it with your friends, and we certainly appreciate that. I do want to say, if you listen, thank you. And go ahead and share it with your friends. If you haven't, share it on social media. You can find us. Make sure you subscribe. You can find us on Instagram, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere that you can find podcasts. Chances are we will be there. And if we are not, you let me know, and I will make sure we show up there. Until then, if you got any questions or comments, you can always get a hold of me. You can call me. You can text me. Area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. You guys have a safe week. Have a good week. Get out, put some lead down reins, and we will hopefully see you back next weekend. Bye.